So now it appears that Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are among a few that have been subpoenaed in reference to the Jeffrey Epstein files. Is it possible that Bill and Hill were running with the devil? I don't know. We shall find out. But people have had their suspicions for quite some time. And it all starts with this footage that we can see something new now. We're going to go back to that Jeffrey Epstein camera footage, which is now showing another figure that apparently was not shown in the video footage that was presented by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And I'm bringing up this video because there used to be this running joke, maybe it's still around there somewhere, where people were like, "Oh, it was the Clintons that killed Jeffrey Epstein." Now we don't know. But I do think this is kind of interesting. You know, I mean, this video here, it was shared on CBS Mornings. I'm surprised they showed it on CBS Morning, but they did. Watch this and pay close attention to the left portion of the screen here. Listen to this.
You will recall Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell in 2019, and it was ruled a suicide. Recently, the Justice Department released security video from the jail. One official called it raw footage, but we looked into it. Scott McFarland reports from Washington on what we found.
This was the nearly 11-hour video agents reviewed when they investigated the death of convicted child predator Jeffrey Epstein. Government officials say it's proof that no one entered his cell tier. Malfunctioning equipment meant only one camera recorded the general area, and that camera captured part of the common area, including the officer's station and a sliver of the staircase leading to Epstein's cell. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino.
There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
CBS News has reviewed the tape, and this is what it shows. The primary entrance is here. The pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera, leaving ample room for someone to enter unseen. This is the last time Epstein is believed to have been seen on camera, but we don't see him walking up the stairs to his cell. Bongino also said none of this video was doctored. It was the original, raw footage from the camera.
We're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans.
But a review by multiple video forensic experts found several indications this may not be raw footage.
You don't say. What did we tell you guys, right? What did we tell you?
For example, at 11:21 p.m., a cursor appears briefly, indicating the video may have actually been a recording of a computer screen. Experts told CBS News the video's metadata, which tracks how a file is created and changed, shows it's made from two clips edited together. Then, at 11:58 p.m., the video suddenly jumps to midnight, and the aspect ratio shifts. Here's U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
But a government source familiar with the probe told CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of a copy of the video that records with no interruption.
These inconsistencies, while not contradicting the conclusion Epstein died by suicide, do introduce questions that the government so far has declined to answer. The department.
First of all, I am highly surprised that this was on CBS Morning. I'm highly shocked that they looked into this.
Department of Justice, Adriana, has not responded to our request for comment.
Wow, Scott, thank you so much. And we recommend everyone go to cbsnews.com. Scott has a full 10-minute breakdown of this video, and it is eye-opening. That is what I'm going to be doing.
Very interesting, huh, ladies and gentlemen? Right? And people who questioned the narrative, they were called conspiracy theorists, etc. You guys know how this goes. Now, the reason why I wanted to show you that, again, because that saying that went on for a long time, that, oh, it was the Clintons that got to Jeffrey Epstein. Somebody got to him, etc. Really interesting, considering now Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton are among a few that have been subpoenaed because of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gents.
But first, breaking tonight, the House committee investigating documents surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein case is now going after some big names. The committee has issued subpoenas to former President Bill Clinton, former presidential nominee Hillary Clinton, and several top law enforcement officials. Also tonight, former Deputy Chief of Staff to then President Biden appeared voluntarily before the same House panel probing an alleged cover-up of President Biden's mental health. Senior national correspondent Aisha Hasni reports from Capitol Hill tonight on these two investigations. Good evening, Aisha.
Brett, good evening to you. You know, the Biden investigation really divided Democrats and Republicans, but Republicans now say this fresh Epstein probe is such a bipartisan effort that even the Clintons may not be able to escape it. Tonight, former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton are facing congressional subpoenas to testify in person about Jeffrey Epstein. The House Oversight Committee summoning the Clintons and 8 former FBI directors and attorneys.
Pause. I just want to show everybody who's on here. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Garland, Merrick Garland, Comey, General Barr, General Gonzalez, General Sessions, Director Mueller, General Lynch, and of course, General Holder. Damn, I ain't seen Eric Holder in a hot minute. But these are the people that have been subpoenaed. So pay close attention. But yes, Hillary and Bill. And what's interesting about this is that they said that they will be, I guess, testifying in person. So this should be hilarious. I might have to cover that live. No matter what time of day it is, I might have to cover that live. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see what they're going to say, especially when I show you the pictures. They have now entered Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan home. So you can see some of the pictures that were in that home. We're going to get into that as well. These individuals, Bill and Hill, and more so Bill, definitely had quite a close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Attorneys General spanning from the Bush era to the Biden White House. The historic move comes as pressure grows on Republicans and the Trump administration to release the Epstein files, and as President Trump points his finger away from himself.
By the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times.
Clinton has denied that, but Oversight Chairman James Comer tells Fox he's got questions.
Well, were you ever at Epstein Island? How many times did you go to Epstein Island? What was your relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
No former president has ever come to the Hill for a deposition, but Comer says the Clintons will have a hard time dodging this one since the left wants answers too.
This is going to be big, you guys. This is going to be big because this particular story or this particular situation is not just something that the Republicans want. This is something that Democrats also want, right? Like Democrats like Ro Khanna. I think Ro Khanna was the first person to bring it forward recently, saying like, let's go after them, pressure them about the Epstein files. So this is something that both parties, politicians on both sides have been pushing for. So I don't know where Bill and Hill really going to stand with this. Now, of course, I think Democrat leadership will find ways to support them and to defend them, but it don't look good. I'm telling you right now, it don't look good for Bill or Hill. Hill and Bill.
Last week, 4 Democrats on an oversight panel voted with 3 Republicans to subpoena the Justice Department for the Epstein files. Democrats are looking for one name.
Donald Trump is clearly going to do everything that he can to minimize the impact to him, but yet he's involved in the cover-up, and we believe Republicans are helping in that right now.
That investigation gets underway as another pushes ahead. Mr. Reed, did you think that the president was competent to serve? Former Biden Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy Bruce Reed sitting in for his closed-door interview today over the alleged cover-up of President Biden's decline. Reed was part of a small group of decision-makers who hid Biden, according to the book Original Sin. Advisors who have all, so far, defended Biden's competency to be the commander-in-chief. And Brett, tonight, a source familiar with Reed's deposition tells us that he basically defended the former president, blamed his poor debate performance on his stutter, and said the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who pled the fifth during his deposition, basically dismissed any cognitive tests as merely meaningless. The next person that is set to appear before the committee is Senior Communications Advisor Anita Dunn this Thursday.
The Bill and Hill thing, I'm telling you, like, people are not going to stay tuned, okay? Is it possible that the Clintons have been running with the devil? Now, we can go through the history, but Bill Clinton has had a number of accusations against him in the previous years. Like, it's not just Monica Lewinsky. Of course, that's the most well-known one. But even when he was governor in Arkansas, there were women there that came out against Bill Clinton, and they accused him of sexual assault. That's not a secret. One of them, I believe, named Juanita, I believe she called into the Hill Rising many years ago when Crystal and Sagar were still hosting Rising. So this type of behavior would not be new for Bill Clinton, because he has been accused by people before. And even though Monica Lewinsky wanted a relationship with them, and according to her, this was consensual, there was still that power dynamic where she was an intern at the White House and he was the president of the United States. Like, obviously, conflict of interest, and you're freaking married. So there's that too. So this is not going to be that. That's why I just say, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But that testimony, I sincerely hope that is covered. That if that is covered, I don't care what time of day it is, I will cover that live, because I want to see the look on their face. And another damn thing I want to mention to you guys, I really believe that Hillary Clinton has known for a long time that her husband was like this. I do not believe that Hillary was surprised about the call out about the affair with Monica Lewinsky. I believe that women like Hillary Clinton know what their husband, she knew that Bill Clinton got around. I don't think that was a secret. I think that Bill Clinton, this is something that he had been doing for a long time. Monica wasn't the first, according to all the other women that have come out against Bill Clinton over the years. So I think this is something that she knew. She knew that Bill Clinton was a womanizer, that he liked to sleep around. And I believe that Hillary Clinton, it's something that she was willing to tolerate in order to get to where she wanted to in her own political career. Believe it or not, there are women that do this. And so what was one of her dreams and aspirations? She wanted to be president of the United States. One of the easiest pathway of doing that is to have your husband become president of the United States first, which I believe she probably pushed. I believe this was all her. I believe that was all her plan. Bill will get you in as governor. Bill will get you in as president. And then this would open the door for her. The next thing we know, she has a Senate seat. She's in the Senate. And then, they're pumping up her to run for president. So the loss that Hillary Clinton had in 2016, that was not supposed to happen in her book. She had this all planned and written out. But I believe that Hillary Clinton knew for a long time. I just don't believe that this was a secret for her. I really don't. Now, do I believe that anything is going to happen to them legally? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, they're powerful people. They know the right people. But this testimony in person should be rather interesting. And I say that to say this. Believe it or not, they actually got a look inside of Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan home. Look at this. I want to show you, because they show you the pictures. Watch this.
From 2000 of Donald Trump with his then girlfriend, Melania Now. Sure, that's one person. Bill Clinton and Epstein and another. Epstein with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Mohammed.
You hear that? The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. There was Bill Clinton. There was pictures of him and Donald Trump. So again, you don't have pictures in your home of you with other people that you don't know. Right. So these are people that Jeffrey Epstein definitely had a relationship with. But we all you heard the Crown Prince of Saudi. That raises some eyebrows, too.
Mohammed bin Salman. That picture also there, just to name a few. Front Now, Steve Eater, investigative reporter for the New York Times, who obtained these photographs. And Steve, it's incredible reporting. I mean, the famous people that Epstein had on display came from vastly different worlds, right? There was politics, entertainment, tech. I mentioned a few. But really only a few, because I know that there were others. When we talk about some of the most important people in the world that were photographed with him and shown in his apartment, who else?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me here to talk about the piece. Yeah, it's a real collection, as you said, of powerful people, of business people, of people in entertainment. So you had, anyone from Steve Bannon to Mick Jagger to Elon Musk, a pope, mixed in there. And I think, if you look at the photographs and think about this, it was, an attempt by Jeffrey Epstein to sort of show the degree of people that he could be acquaintances with, to be friendly with, and to have them in his life, and that he had that.
Mick Jagger. Does it move like Jagger? Do you have moves like Jagger? Right?
That access.
Right, to show that access. Obviously, many of those pictures weren't taken actually in the townhouse itself, but they were displayed there, right? So the people would come through, would be awed by him and impressed by him. So those photos are there. And then, you've been through this actual massive townhouse in Manhattan. What is it, 40 rooms? And you've been in perhaps one of the most horrible ones, definitely one of the most horrible ones there. The massage room located in a suite of rooms connected to Epstein's bedroom. That massage room where Epstein was said to have assaulted some of his victims. And, look, in light of what we have now learned, that room, I'm sure you having been in there, is unfortunately very meaningful. What did you see?
Yeah, well, just to clarify, through the photographs, we were able to get a view into the home, not through a tour of the home of some sort. But just, what we did see, so on that floor that you're referring to, this is part of a 21,000 square foot home. And, what we learned through this is, on the third floor, there was basically this like suite that included Epstein's bedroom. It included bathrooms, but there was also, the massage room. We found, through the photographs, that there were multiple cameras that had been mounted in these adjoining rooms. Not necessarily that we could tell in the massage room itself, but the massage room, there were paintings of naked women. For example, a silver ball and chain were among the kinds of things that we could see that were visible.
We have to pause here for a second. Did anyone notice that Erin seems a little bit uncomfortable when she's covering this story? I don't know. Maybe it's because like Bill Clinton's there as well. It's not just people on the right. It's also people, that are Democrat. I don't want to say the left, but people that are Democrats as well. But she seems kind of nervous covering the story. Someone said in the chat, and it's like you were reading my mind. I was about to go there. Les Wexner. Guess what I just finished watching earlier today? I just finally watched that Abercrombie and Fitch documentary on Netflix. And it's just interesting how all these people just roll together, right? So the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was also friends and, of course, business, buds with Les Wexner, the same guy who was friends and a business partner with Jeffrey Epstein. Apparently, the person that gave Jeffrey Epstein money. It was alluded that there could have been some type of a romantic relationship between those two, but all these people run together. Now, the reason why I bring up Abercrombie and Fitch is because of this. Abercrombie and Fitch needs what? They needed models. And the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, remember I covered this about a year and a half ago, that he was also arrested on these sexual charges for basically pimping out models through Abercrombie and Fitch. Now, unlike Diddy, he was allowed to be released on bail. So I don't know if everybody remembers that story. I covered it, but it kind of like it happened and then it kind of flew under the radar and people don't really talk about him anymore. His name is Jeffrey, former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. So you had someone connected to the modeling industry, which he was very particular about, not just the people who modeled for Abercrombie and Fitch, but he was also particular about who worked in the Abercrombie and Fitch stores, that he wanted them to look a certain way. Now, pause there for a second. Fast forward to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein also was involved in the modeling industry. Remember, at one point, if you go through Whitney Webb's article, that's one of the things that was talked about how he was trying to, I guess, quote unquote, get some of the models that were around people like Naomi Campbell as well. That's another part. So you have another person working with models. Then you have the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch working with models. And in the middle, you have Lex Wagner. And Lex was the one who founded Limited, Incorporated. The Limited Incorporated included Bath and Body Works, Victoria's Secret, and of course the retail store, The Limited, to name a few. So you have the person in the middle who had the money to give to Jeffrey Epstein, the money to kind of get these things rolling. And then you got the two pimps on the outside. This is why I say it's not just about Jeffrey Epstein. You're talking about a global network, a web of sorts. And when you put it all together, it's going to reveal, I think, a lot of people. And I think that's why they really don't want to reveal those Epstein files, because it's so many people, I believe, that are connected to this, that it's just going to be like going down a rabbit hole. Probably people that you would not expect. Some you would expect, and some you probably would not expect. And that would include politicians in my book. One big tangled web.
And just all of that, to think what happened in that actual room. And 40-room townhouse, I mean, it's a mansion. He renovated it fully. He redecorated it. And what you have described in your report, Steve, is an eccentric style. What stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a word, creepy. I mean, I think that there are things that you would look around and you would see, like you mentioned at the top of this, the taxidermy tiger, for example, there was the sculpture of a woman wearing a bridal gown and clutching a rope in the central atrium of the home, framed prosthetic eyeballs lining an entryway, just sort of a general strangeness, creepiness, to the home, throughout. Leopard print chairs, for example, were among the things that we could detect and included in our report.
So I haven't seen leopard print chairs since I was in college. And that was, people used to get some of the furniture from IKEA, and people would get like the leopard print chairs from IKEA. So really interesting to me that was one of the things that he saw there that he mentioned. Major said 40 rooms, that's overkill. It is overkill. And it makes you wonder, why would one person need that many rooms?
It's pretty incredible. I hope everyone will read it in full, look at the photos that you were able to obtain and share. So important in light of everything we're learning now. Steve, thank you so much. And of course, I will note, none of the people that Steve and I were just talking about, whose photographs were on display in Epstein's apartment, none of those individuals have been accused of wrongdoing in the Epstein case.
We're talking tonight about all that's transpired since the Trump administration tried to put a lid on the Jeffrey Epstein story.
Yeah. So I believe that was the only thing. And I just want to show you again, these are all the people that have been subpoenaed. So Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Comey, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Merrick Garland, Robert Mueller, William Barr, Jeff Sessions, and Alberto Gonzalez. The sad thing about all this is that at the end of the day, nothing's probably going to happen to any of these people. They're not going to be held accountable for the most part. These are very powerful people. So just keep that in mind. But it is not a good look. I am waiting for that in-person testimony from Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. That should be very interesting. But it appears that, like I said, the Clintons could have been running with the devil. Sometimes you got to wonder, how did people get to where they are at the pace that they did? Who did they know? Hillary came from a pretty upper middle class family. Bill did not. Bill grew up poor. So this is why I continue to say, I believe she kind of molded him into what she wanted him to be, so that she could also pave a way for her political career as well. Now, obviously, it's easier to do that if you have the husband go first. So I don't know. It's like that Van Halen song, I'm telling you. Running with the devil. That's what it seems like. That's what it feels like to me. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.